Hello and welcome back to another video, and in today's video, as you can see here, I made this tier list and I went through every single UFC champion of all time, including interim champions. In today's video, we determine who is the greatest UFC fighter of all time. So let's just go through the brackets, I don't know, the categories, whatever they're called. How didn't I know it was tier? You stupid! So, obviously, number one, the GOAT. Only one person will be up here at the end of this list. Second is in the GOAT convo, so could be the GOAT in another person's mind. The third one is near the GOAT convo, so you're almost in GOAT conversation, but not quite, so you're just a tier below. Tier below that is pretty damn good. Below that is decent. Obviously, all of these fighters are UFC champions. They're not decent fighters, but like in terms of the grand scheme of this tier list and all the people on it, you were a decent UFC champion. You would never be considered the GOAT, but you were a good fighter in your day type of thing. And then below that is a bad champion. Kind of messed up here with the whole bad champion tier. I eventually changed it to meh, but it's basically like fighters who got the belt and had like one title defense, maybe. Just meh kind of champions. And then below that was weight he was champion. They would never be close to the GOAT combo. You didn't even know they were champion. That's how it is. And then at the bottom is who the fuck is that guy? It's pretty self-explanatory. Who the fuck is that guy? Because there are some UFC champions, especially in the heavyweight and light heavyweight division, that probably some hardcores don't even know. So yeah, let's just get straight into the tier list. First up to rank is Matt Hughes. He was one of the greatest UFC welterweights of all time. For sure top 3, like guaranteed top 3. He had like the second most title defenses in UFC welterweight history. But I would say Matt Hughes goes in, for now, the pretty damn good category because he's one of the greatest welterweights of all time. Okay, next up is possibly the tallest UFC champion of all time, 6'8" Tim Sylvia. I'm gonna put him in bad champion. Next up is, that's Maurice Smith. I think he fits in weight he was champion. Next we have Rico Rodriguez. He immediately goes in this. Next is Rampage Jackson. Now, this is the UFC GOAT conversation, so anything in Pride or anything like Strikeforce, anything like that, doesn't count. I'm gonna put him in the bad champion. Next up is Luke Rockhold. I'm gonna put Luke Rockhold in the bad champion tier. Next up is Andrei Arlovski. Most people watching nowadays wouldn't even know Andrei Arlovski was a champion, but in terms of his UFC career, again, nowhere near the GOAT conversation. He won the title and he stuck around so long, and he probably holds some serious UFC records, so I'm gonna put him in decent. Carlos Condit. I'm gonna put Carlos Condit in meh. Up next is the newest champion to be crowned, Charles Oliveira. He does have some very impressive records in terms of like the most finishes in UFC history, the most submissions in UFC history. Just based on all of his fights and his career in the UFC, I think he deserves to be in decent. And now we got the current flyweight champion, Davison Figueiredo. Can't say that name. I'll put him in meh. Next we have Dominic Cruz. He wouldn't be in the GOAT category. I think I'm gonna put him in meh. Oh, that's tough. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. Next we have the current heavyweight champion, Francis Ngannou. I think I'd have to put Ngannou in meh as well. I think so, because he just became a champion. Yeah, I'm gonna put him in meh. Jan Blachowicz, the current UFC 205 champ. I think he's just in meh as well. Still has stuff to prove. And here's Kamaru Usman. Usman's winning streak right now at welterweight is like the most ever. So I think I'm gonna put him in pretty damn good along with Hughes. And now we have Khabib Nurmagomedov, the former UFC lightweight champion. Right now, I'm gonna put him in the GOAT combo. Robert Whittaker, I think I'm gonna put him in decent. Next we have TJ Dillashaw. My opinion, the greatest UFC bantamweight of all time. The EPO stuff is obviously big, but we're not gonna look at that because we have Jon Jones on this list. Yeah, I'm gonna put him in pretty damn good. Now we have Tony Ferguson. Of course, Tony Ferguson of late has not been doing great. You can't look past his amazing 12-fight run that he went on, and he is arguably the greatest. Well, he's the second greatest lightweight ever, because Khabib is clearly the greatest lightweight ever. I'm gonna have to put him in decent. And next we have Cain Velasquez. Does he go in pretty damn good? I think he does. I think Cain Velasquez goes in pretty damn good. Now Randy Couture, I think he's a 3-time champion. 3 or 4. And in light heavyweight and heavyweight, I think I'm gonna put him in pretty damn good just because of his legacy and resume. Israel Adesanya. I think I'm gonna put Adesanya in pretty damn good. Next we have Jose Aldo. I think I'm gonna go Aldo in pretty damn good. And now we got Aljamain Sterling. Of course, he won his belt in controversial fashion. I think, wait, he was champion. Like, I think in a few years you'll be like, wait, Aljo was champion. And now we got Eddie Alvarez, Underground King. I think Eddie Alvarez would go in the meh category. Now we go to Michael Bisping, another one of those guys, kind of like Charlie Olives, winning a belt late in his career. Bisping is definitely between decent and meh, and I think because I put Olives, that boy Charlie Olives, in decent, I think I'm gonna put Bisping in decent. This is UFC based, so if you're like screaming because of what Rampage did in Pride, or what Rockhold did in Strikeforce, or Khan did in WEC, or Eddie Alvarez through all his promotions, it's just UFC wise. Now Triple C Henry Cejudo, former 2-division champion. I think this is the first former 2-division simultaneous champion we're looking at. The second one is coming right after this, actually. Yeah, I think I'm gonna put him in pretty damn good. Now we got Daniel Cormier, and I think this is going to be the first guy we put in that near GOAT combo category. Former 2-division champion, dominated at heavyweight, dropped down because Cain Velasquez was the champion then, didn't want to fight his teammate. So I'm gonna put DC in near the GOAT combo. I don't think he's in the GOAT combo. He's near it though. Now we go to Fabricio Verdum. If we were looking at his stuff from outside of the UFC, I think he'd be higher. But I think just UFC based, I'm gonna put him in meh. Now we go to Demetrious Mighty Mouse Johnson. Tied, I think, for the most title defenses ever. He's in the GOAT combo for sure, in my opinion. Now we go to Frankie Edgar. So I think I'm gonna put Frankie Edgar's UFC career in decent. That's Evan Tanner, first ever middleweight champion. Sorry. Now we move to the Iceman, Chuck Liddell. Obviously was the face of the UFC. I think I'm gonna put Liddell in decent. Next we got Forrest Griffin, and I think he fits perfectly in this category. Wait, he was a champion? He did some good work at light heavyweight. Obviously, the amazing fight that he had with Stephan Bonner helped propel the UFC to where it is today. But Forrest Griffin, kind of a 50-50 fighter in his UFC career. Had that good run where he became the champion, but then immediately lost. And yeah, I think he fits well in that weight he was a champion category. Next we go to Justin Gaethje. Now Justin Gaethje, again, if we're looking at it, only his career in his UFC, wow, only his career in the UFC, which we are, he's lost to Alvarez, Poirier, and Khabib. And he had that good run where he beat Vic by first round knockout, and Barbosa, and then, oh my god, I'm missing one, right? Vic, Barbosa, Cowboy, maybe that was it. I feel like I'm missing one. But, yeah, he had a good run and became the interim champion with a really good win over Tony Ferguson, but I don't think he even gets higher than Tony Ferguson in this list. I think he fits in the, I think he fits in the meh category, I'd say. Yeah, I think he fits in the meh category. And now we go to Cody Garbrandt, former UFC bantamweight champion. His run coming up was spectacular. He looked godly against Dominic Cruz, but then he had his 2 losses to TJ Dillashaw and then to Pedro Munoz, and he's fighting this weekend against Rob Font after his comeback fight against Rafael Alonso with that crazy knockout. But in terms of where he stands in the GOAT conversation, I'd say he's in meh. Good win over Dominic Cruz, and that's really his best win for sure. Because who's other? Thomas Almeida and like Takeya Mizugaki. That's it. Not great. Now we go on to Benson Henderson. One of the best lightweights of his era, still fighting to this day in Bellator. He had some, I think he had a title defense, maybe, even. I don't know, but I'm gonna put him in meh. Yeah. And now we go to Max Holloway. Now this one is gonna be interesting. Max Holloway, definitely in between pretty damn good and decent. Definitely in between pretty damn good and decent. Again, like I said earlier, I think Aldo is the greatest featherweight of all time just because of his legacy and like his title defenses. But oof, I think Max Holloway goes in pretty damn good as well. I think so. Because he had that long winning streak. He challenged for the lightweight belt. He has really good wins over Frankie Edgar. Yeah, I feel, and he has a win over Charlie Oliveira. But I think I put him in pretty damn good. Again, levels to pretty damn good, but I'm not gonna rank them in that order. Johnny Hendricks, wow. Did some good work when he was doing the blood doping thing where it would help his weight cut, but they cut that, and then he moved up to 185 after missing weight like 2 times, and never been the same since. Never hit that hard against George St Pierre. Gave him a really good fight, but I think Johnny Hendricks, ooh, this is an interesting one too, because he's either meh or wait he was champion. He might be in weight he was champion, because him and Aljo have similar, like, Aljo's got a better UFC resume, I think, than Johnny Hendricks does. Yeah, I think I'll put him there, weight he was champion. And now we get into Jon Jones. It's obvious where we're putting him. He's in the GOAT combo for sure. At the end of the video, we'll decide who the GOAT is. But definitely in the GOAT combo. Now this is Josh Barnett. UFC career, not great. Wait, he was champion. Robbie Lawler. Now Robbie Lawler's UFC title run was amazing. Action-packed fights. Great UFC career. Oh, it's either decent or bad. How many title defenses did he have? He beat Hendricks, then he fought McDonald. Was that the trajectory? And then that's a title defense. Conned it. He had 2 title defenses. Then he lost to Woodley. I think he belongs in the meh. Yeah, meh for Robbie Lawler. Lyoto Machida. I think he just fits in the meh along with some of those 205ers. Nothing else more. And this is Mark Coleman, the first ever UFC heavyweight champion. I think he's weight he was champion. Matt Serra. I don't even think Matt Serra deserves to be in weight he was champion based on his UFC career. But you know who the fuck Matt Serra is. You don't. Yeah, I think I'll put him in weight he was champion. You remember his win over George St Pierre, but he fits in that category. Ooh, this one's interesting. Conor McGregor now. Where does Conor McGregor fit into this tier list? Former featherweight champion. His run in featherweight was pretty awesome. Didn't really beat a ton of big names. Beat Poirier, Mendez, and then Aldo, obviously. Those are like the 3 biggest wins in that win streak. Again, smacks Holloway. I guess that's a big win, but Max Holloway was like 16 years old when they fought. Not the Max Holloway of today or anywhere near it. But this one's interesting. The first ever 2-division world champion. I don't think he's near the GOAT convo. He's never had a title defense. He's in between decent and pretty damn good. And I think since I have Holloway and pretty damn good, I think I'm gonna have to put McGregor in pretty damn good in terms of his UFC legacy, being the first ever guy to win 2 belts simultaneously, hold them simultaneously, and having wins over Aldo and a win at welterweight too. So yeah, pretty damn good, I'd say. Stipe Miocic. Now Stipe Miocic is the greatest heavyweight of all time. Definitely the greatest UFC heavyweight of all time. So I think that puts him in near the GOAT convo. Yeah, I think so. In terms of his legacy. Frank Mir, 2-time heavyweight champion, lost the belt because he got in a motorcycle accident. Came back, beat Brock Lesnar by like heel hook, but then like got dominated by him. Frank Mir. I think Frank Mir goes in meh, his UFC career, I'd say. Murillo Bustamante. Yeah. That is Pat Miocic down there. If I'm not getting the names mixed up, no, that's Dave Monet. That's Pat Miocic. Yeah, Pat Miocic. Jesus. The world shook there. Pat Miocic, he was actually a decent champion. Had some title defenses, I think. So I guess we'll put him in meh. Again, not of my time. BJ Penn, this one's really interesting because he was considered the greatest lightweight of all time for a long time. He might even still be top 3 or 4 greatest lightweights of all time, which is interesting. Of course, later in his career, he'd lose 10 in a row or whatever streak he's on right now. But UFC-wise, I'd say former lightweight champion, former welterweight champion, I think he's in pretty damn good. Legacy-wise. Oh my god. Baby J Penn. Okay, now we got Anthony Pettis. I think he had a couple title defenses. Good UFC run. Good wins at featherweight, lightweight, and welterweight. Oh, I might put him in decent, you know. Win over Wonder Boy, like, I think I'm gonna put him decent. Yeah. Yeah, I will. I'll put him decent. Dustin Poirier. He's one of the greatest lightweights of all time. I'd say. Maybe not like top 4 or 3. Former interim champion. Win over McGregor, which is big, obviously. I think I'm gonna put Poirier in decent as well, along with Pettis. Oh, that's so tough. Because never really a champion. Oh, that's tough. He had a good win streak, like a 6-fight win streak. Ooh, I don't think he's in decent. He might be in decent or even near pretty damn good by the end of his career, but I think right now he's in meh. Ooh. Yeah, I'd say in meh. Kevin Randleman, not a long UFC career, but we know who he is, so wait, he was champion. Rashad Evans, I think he just goes in meh. Here is, oh my god, that first lightweight champion, Jens Pulver. Shogun. Again, if we were counting Pride, this would be a different story. But, just UFC-wise, I think he fits in meh. Sean Shirk. Sean Shirk was a champion? Wait. Oh my god, who's that? Oh my god, I know him. Who is that? Oh, it's Shane Carwin. Shane Carwin, former UFC interim heavyweight champion. He was a champion? Obviously, he ran through like the division for a little bit with like first round knockouts and stuff, but he quickly fell off after his loss to Brock Lesnar. Now we go into GSP, and he's not going indecent. I just have to scroll up because I have so many freaking fighters on here. Obviously GSP. Okay, now we go to Tito Ortiz, one of the OG light heavyweights. I'd say he's one of the best light heavyweights of all time. Obviously not better than Jon Jones. Maybe not even better than Chuck Liddell. But I would say... that's interesting. I think I'd put Tito Ortiz in meh as well. Yeah. Even though he held the record for a little bit for light heavyweight title defenses with like 5 or 6, but his opposition, I don't know. I don't think so. Meh. That is Dave Monet. Frank Shamrock. Another guy who actually held like a record for a little bit and was decent in the UFC. Pretty good resume. Old timer. I think I'll put him in meh. would never be in your GOAT combo. Alex Volkanovski with a win over Aldo or Holloway. Has a title defense. 2 wins over Holloway technically. I think Volkanovski has more to prove. Not a ton of fights in the UFC. I think he's only like 8-0, 9-0. I think he fits in the meh category along with these newer champions lined up right here. Now we got Chris Weidman, maybe the 2nd greatest middleweight of all time. But I think he fits in. I think Robert Whittaker is the 2nd greatest middleweight of all time. Even though Weidman's got more title defenses and stuff. I think Weidman has to go indecent. Yeah, I think Weidman has to go indecent because of his run to the top, beat Anderson twice, beat Vitor, beat Lyoto for 205 belt? Oh, I don't know. I forget. It's definitely Belfort. It might have been Lyoto. And then he fought Rockhold and lost, and has definitely gone down since. Yeah. Tyron Woodley. He might have to go in decent as well because of all those title defenses. I don't think I'd put him in pretty damn good. But he held the belt for a while. And yeah, he's obviously fallen off big time and is now out of the UFC with 4 straight losses. But yeah, I think he has to go in decent. And Petr Yan, I think he might even be, wait, he was a champion. Just because his resume isn't that good yet. say. Okay, and here we are, we're done the ratings, and now it is time to have the GOAT convo. Who is the greatest UFC fighter of all time? Is it Khabib Nurmagomedov, 13-0, undefeated in his whole professional career, with an amazing run through lightweights, through the lightweight division, possibly the hardest division in UFC. Especially in the time that he did it, where it was stacked. Finishes over Conor McGregor, Poirier, and Gaethje. Or Demetrious Johnson, 12 title defenses, dominated everyone. Had more finishes than you thought, because a lot of people thought his fights were boring, but if you go back and watch those fights, they were super entertaining, and he was finishing people more often than not, I believe. His title defense record puts him up there. Wait, where is Anderson Silva? Oh, did I not put Anderson Silva in picture in here? Oh my god, I didn't put Anderson Silva's picture in here. He'd be near the GOAT combo. I'll say that. Edit Anderson Silva right there. Boom. 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 Anderson Silva near the GOAT combo. Not in the GOAT combo, I'd say. Near GOAT combo though. Yeah. Okay. As I was saying, Demetrious Johnson, most title defenses ever, tied with Silva. I think. Interesting. But the competition wasn't as good. And he was finishing people more than you thought, but he was getting some decision wins in there as well. Jon Jones, early in his career, running through everyone, finishing everyone. But as of late, kind of barely winning fights. But again, 26-1 in his whole career, basically undefeated. And then we have George St Pierre, the greatest welterweight of all time. Came back, beat Michael Bisping for the middleweight belt after 4 years laid off. Wins over Matt Hughes, and all those welterweight killers that he went through. John Fitch, Jake Shields, back in those days, those guys were beasts. So it's tough to say who the greatest UFC fighter of all time is. But I think I have my decision made. Do I have my decision made? Greatest UFC fighter of all time. Jon Jones. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. And yeah, peace.